Okay, it's 5 o'clock. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Sean Callan. Here. Julie Chetney. Here. Tom Chapa here. Kristen Norfleet. Sean Onmacht.
Here.
Jennifer Salazzo.
Here.
Tim Rice.
Here.
And Leah Norton.
Here.
Excellent, thank you. If you'd join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. No, okay, great. So we'd move along. Oh, what should we move? The acknowledgements? Because Kristen is supposed to do that, or would someone like to take over that duty? You can do it, Jen? All right, Jen will take over. We have acknowledgements. Thank you, Jen.
For Fitzhugh Park. At Fitzhugh Park, we had our first Leader in Me assembly for the 25-26 school year. We reviewed our 7 habits, what's new and cool in our school, and we also focused on our positive behavior interventions and supports, which are be respectful, be responsible, be a problem solver, and be safe. We also hosted our annual open house on the 15th, and we're looking forward to a great year here at FPS. For the high school, on 9/18, OHS welcomed families in for our financial aid night, open house, and Port City Connections community event. Students were able to introduce their teachers to their families. In addition, there was free pizza for attendees. Information and free goodies were given by our community partners. The counseling department provided information about financial aid. The career-based learning cohort parent meeting was also held, and Dr. Sykett was in the library to answer tech questions, and the event was well attended. Kingsford Park, KPS students are always sharing friendship and teamwork during recess. Mrs. Jaslow's first grade KPS scholars are enthusiastic about their learning. Layton, FLS wants to thank Burke's Home Centers for their plastic bucket donations. FLS works hard building classroom communities here in Mr. Wygand's 5th grade. Minetto, at Minetto, we're back, and it feels so great, or so right. Reading books, good books, brings smiles so bright. Open house is coming, fun's on the way. Meet all the teachers this Thursday. With raffles, we'll cheer and we'll clap. Our school year's beginning with joy on the map. And the middle school, at OMS, our 12-to-1 life skills class has planted a garden at the neighboring church. James has a carrot that he took care of and picked from the garden. We are thankful for our church giving us space to learn and grow plants. Thank you. That is it.
Thank you, Jen. And then we'll move on to Board of Education. We have one resolution, or one item, the resolution for settlement agreement with Okta. Can I get a motion for that, please?
I'll move it.
Thank you, Sean. And can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Tim. There'll be no discussion on this, so if I could have all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Vote carries 6-0. And now we move on to Dr. Kilmer's report.
Sure, just a couple of items. I dropped off to each of you a draft board presentation schedule. We're trying to add additional presentations throughout the course of the year. Originally, we were supposed to have a presentation today, but we did have to shift that due to a family emergency. So next meeting, we do have a hefty meeting. We have our 3 elementary schools building action plan presentations, school improvement plan presentation, and then we'll also likely have Tom Zuber do our independent audit presentation on that day as well. And then on the 21st, we have more building action plans. So again, I'm just giving this to you. I'm going to share this with you electronically, just so you can keep track of what do we have coming up. And that way, if there are suggestions that you might have or other items that you're hoping to maybe get some additional information from, we can try to add or schedule those in. I also, on the right-hand side, I included in there budget workshops, so you'll know when budget season really kicks off, and that's just right around the corner. We'll be starting to talk about that very, very soon. So we'll be likely doing some of those in addition to maybe some other presentations as well. But again, it's really for you to just keep a close eye on and then provide input on. I do want to talk to you a little bit about, I mentioned this a little over a year ago. It's been a long-standing project of ours, but this school year we will be installing an electronic integrative kind of hall of fame, if you will, right here in the high school. It'll be right in the main entranceway. And we started off really by looking at how do we find a way to bring back our athletic hall of fame plaques. And there are so many of them. We didn't really have a place. And so we started looking at what are some of the electronic ways that we might be able to do this. And so what started off, a focus on the electronic Athletic Hall of Fame kind of grew to also recognize not only athletics, but also have a spot to recognize the arts, to recognize academics. And so it's really a way to honor all of Oswego. And so it is a large 55-inch interactive screen where you'll be able to, you'll press on different icons, be able to learn more about, again, not only maybe Athletic Hall of Fame, but also what's been going on in theater or musicals or marching band or other aspects of athletics. So we're really excited to finally bring that to us. It will be an ongoing project. It is really quite a heavy lift. Our staff is working very hard at trying to get all of the data information into that system with the work of our vendor. But that work will likely continue not only up until the installation, but for years coming afterwards. Because again, we're looking for photos, and I'm sure when our community sees it, they might have photographs that we might be missing that they might offer to us, and then we can go ahead and upload those after the fact. So we're really excited about bringing that along. Today, we had our FEMA Radiological Emergency Preparedness review. That's something that happens on an annual basis. Usually 1 to 2 schools is reviewed every year. Last year it was Layton and Fitzhugh Park. This year it was Riley and Kingsford Park. But we have members of not only FEMA, but also the Oswego County Emergency Management Office to kind of review our radiological preparedness plan. And so that went really well for us today. And so I thank the principals and nurses from both Riley and KPS, and then of course our transportation department in helping us go through that review. As I mentioned already, we are looking at possibly an audit presentation on October 7th. So we are going to be looking to schedule an audit committee meeting, likely either on the 6th or 7th, just to do an additional review prior to the formal presentation to the board. So be on the lookout for an email from Diane for those of you that are on the audit committee. And then just an update on facilities projects. So phase 4 is out for bid. So that's mostly that site work that is on the Layton and high school campus. We are expecting to open bids late October. So we're gonna know very, very quickly what's the total scope of work we can get done and the budget that we have. And then that phasing work is really gonna be essential. We've already started some of the initial phasing reviews, but we expect work to begin this spring and continue through next summer. So the summer of 27 and that's phase 4 of the 2018 project. At the same time, 4B, sorry, yeah, phase 4. But then the 24 project, right now we're in the middle of that phase 1 of the 24 project, but phase 2 is going out to bid, or not to bid, but going to state ed this week. We expect that to be completed by next month. And likely we're going to be going out to bid on the 24 project. Again, that's phase 2 of the 24 project this winter. And once again, we're expecting work to begin this spring for the 24 project and continue through next summer as well. So there's going to be some significant work and likely some disruption across a number of campuses. So once we have a clear phasing plan, we will communicate that to our community so everyone knows what to expect, when to expect it, But we've got 2 projects that are pretty significant that are going to be running parallel over the next 2 years. So we're really excited to finally get that underway so people can actually see what's been in the works for so many years. So that's all I've got.
Excellent, thank you. And now we're on to policy, and we can see right here the policy committee has been working very diligently. This will be the first reading of these policies, so everyone have a chance to look them over, and then at our next meeting, so if you have any questions in between, you could reach out to Kristen or Dr. Kilmer about those policies, and at our next meeting, we would get the second reading and adopt them. So if I could get a motion for items A through I.
I'll move.
Thank you, Kristen. And a second? Thank you, Jen. So, any discussion? I think I put the cart before the horse, but go ahead.
Yeah, just quickly, sort of a reminder from what I've reported on over the past year is these policies, you're not seeing changes in policies here, you're seeing cleanup of policies. So anyone who's going through here, whether it's fellow members of the board or people watching and they're trying to figure out what it is we're trying to do, we're trying to make them cleaner, less words, more consistent with the law, referencing the law instead of quoting it. That way, if the law changes, our policy's not obsolete, that type of thing. So don't look at all these and say, oh my God, they're changing so many policies, because that's not really what's happening here. We're just trying to make the language easier to read and follow.
And I just want to say, in looking at these compared to other ones, they are much more easy to read and simpler, and I appreciate that. That's great. So, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, motion carries 6-0. And now on to committee discussions. We can start with facilities. Sean?
Yeah, I think the facilities committee, like I have to go first before Ray does his superintendent's report, because a lot of times he steals thunder from the facilities committee. But I appreciate him giving the update to all the activity that we have going on. Phase 4A, he didn't mention, but up off Fitzgibbons Drive, I haven't been up there this week, but the fencing will be going around where we put in the new tennis courts and over behind the school, the basketball and pickleball courts. Fencing should be, as soon as it gets in, that'll be secured. We have put some grass seed down and some landscaping in place. And so that's reaching the end of it. And just as a reminder to everybody, in the spring, we're looking for that to settle, and then the seal coat will be put on the top of that. And everything will be finalized with the tennis courts and the pickleball court and basketball court. The other thing that I want to mention, kind of tying into visitation, and I know that Tim's going to talk about this, but it's pretty cool sitting in this long-range planning. We had a facilities committee meeting last Thursday, and when we have our building condition survey that we did and the long-range planning, Ray talked about all the things that are going out to bid for the 2024, but we're starting to look at things and spaces and everything. It's a cascading effect about a referendum for 2026 capital project, so capital improvement project. So there's a lot going on now, but when we get together monthly, we're talking about, okay, what's next? What allowance do we have? What cost allowances? What money do we have at what building? And where I was going with that relative to visitation is we get to go to, Jen, Tim, and I, we go and see the spaces. We talk to the building principals and what their needs are, what their students' needs are. And so I felt fortunate that I got to do that and, hear some of that and then bring it back to our conversation in facilities, because that's really connecting, what the needs are to what our priorities should be in capital improvement projects and capital outlay. When we were over at Riley, the principal, 3-4 times talked about the new doors that we put in, the security of those spaces, it being warm in the wintertime without a draft. So it's kind of cool to see those things or hear it after we worked on it in the previous years and introduced the capital outlay as we did a couple of years ago. So good stuff. A lot of stuff going on.
Thank you, Sean. And Tim, visitation.
Sean's stealing my thing.
There's a pecking order here.
That's the way it works around here,
The visitation committee visited Charles E. Riley School on Friday, September 19th. Committee members in attendance were Jen Salazzo, Sean Callan, and myself. Also in attendance were Dr. Kilmer and Ian Roberry. As Sean said, the tour was led by Principal Tracy Egnor. I'm right. I'm glad I didn't butcher her name. And just to highlight a few bullets of our visit. We had a complete tour of the school, and while she was taking us around, they were showcasing, as Sean mentioned, the finalization of the installation of the new doors and windows and the redesign of the single point of entry at Riley and the foyer area. We had a tour of the Century Hallway and the music wing at Riley. The reconstruction of the nurse and main offices, which was part of getting that single point in the foyer built. And we saw the installation of the new boilers. And we saw a couple of our local contractors, J&A and Scribe Electric, actually trimming out the boilers. And knowing a little bit about it, they're close. A neat project Riley's working on is developing a joint venture with Bishop Commons for intergenerational garden. They have some raised flower beds over on the south side of the property, and are going to invite Bishop Commons to get the generations to plant and maintain that and just interact. And Sean and Jen, if you think I missed anything that jumped out at you.
Well, Tim went to school there, so he kind of a lot of reminiscing was going on, while we were walking through the hallways. A little bit bigger now than he was then, but the only other thing that I would say about that is just the pride. When you hear the principals talk about the buildings, everything kept going back to how the students were going to benefit from whatever they did with whatever space, no matter where it was. Out at the gardens, a new playground being more, adaptive for everyone, something down the road. But it was all about the students and the spaces, and that was really awesome to hear just again and again and again while we were walking through the hallways.
How much the teachers all put in their own time, their own money to even make those spaces better than they even were. So.
Thank you very much. I just want to say, I think that's awesome with the garden, the community garden, and then to see it in acknowledgments earlier with the middle school, the idea that we're engaging the community on that level, and I think it's wonderful. So that's great. Thank you. Sean, anything for?
We're going to schedule our first community relations committee meeting soon, and there should be the next newsletter that goes out to the public sometime this fall.
Excellent.
Yeah, actually, and on that, thanks for bringing that up, Sean. I was talking to Sarah McRoby today about the fall newsletter, and we're just reviewing potential topics and articles. So if the board has any suggestions or areas of interest that they feel that we might need to touch on this fall, just please reach out. But our plans are to try to get that into everyone's mailboxes by the end of October.
Kristen, you would like to say anything about policy? Because it was very well done, I just wanted to say.
Oh, thank you,
Okay,
thank
you're
you, thank you.
welcome.
No, but quickly, October meeting, we are going to have a virtual guest, somebody from New York State School Board Association, who's going to do a presentation on what they offer as an alternative to Erie One BOCES for a policy service. The goal for the policy committee is to try to create some sort of a side-by-side comparison that then we can present to all of you with our recommendation of what we think we should do, which would be either continuing with Erie One or switching over to NYSBA. I'm looking forward to hearing what they have to say. I will say that we looked at our last meeting at some samples from NYSBA, and they have a lot fewer words, which is what I love about a good policy. So.
Thank you very much. So now we'll move on to the consent agenda. If I have no objection, I'd like to have items A through D. Can I get a motion to accept the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, I'm Tim first,
I'll second.
and Julie second. Thank you very much. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 6-0. And on personnel, the same thing, if I can, without objection, group together items A through I. Items A through I, if I can get a motion for personnel.
I'll move.
Thank you, Julie, and thank you, Sean, for a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 6-7-0, excuse me. And now on to finance. Let's just do items A and B together. If I can get a motion for items A and B.
I'll move it.
Thank you, Sean, and a second.
I'll second.
And thank you very much, Kristen. Any discussion?
I just want to say thank you very much. We always appreciate the donations and support that we get into the school district for different things that we're doing, so just appreciate that.
Yeah. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. And item C in finance, resolution for internet fiber maintenance. Can I get a motion for that?
I'll move.
Thank you, Julie. And a second? Tim, thank you very much. Any discussion? I just want to say I was curious about it, so I asked Pete on the way in, and about it, and it was just our opportunity to work to CNY Rick to put it through there, so we got better pricing on our internet services, and so it's just an opportunity where we're saving money within the district by utilizing those services. So I just wanted to point that out. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Motion carries 7-0. And now, Leah, we move on to you.
Hi. So this week I have a couple things to talk about. So the first thing is the student council at the high school. It hasn't been very involved and not very we haven't really done anything except for the pep rally. So we got new advisors this year, Mrs. Koskowski and Mrs. Sorrell. So we're really changing everything, changing our bylaws, changing a lot of things. We want to increase visibility and do a lot more activities more consistently throughout the year instead of just the pep rally in the fall and the spring. And we want to be more like a hub for student activities. We're gonna open up the membership to anyone who wants to do it. Anyone who can meet the requirements, we're gonna open it up. Because it used to be, I believe, only 5 students for each grade level, which then is only 20 kids, and we're the student council. We should represent everyone. So there's not gonna be any cap, and just anyone who meets the criteria, like the service hours, anything like that, they're welcome to join. We're also gonna increase the service requirement, so we're gonna do more like semesters. Every semester you have to have a certain amount of hours instead of by the end of the year you need your hours, because people ended up cramming in all 10 hours in the last month of school. So getting it more spread out so that we're also more engaged with the community like we should be. And everyone in student council has to join. We made little committees this year. So there's a fundraising committee, school spirit committee, outreach committee, teacher student awards committee, and then a service committee. All the officers run those committees, so it's student led. I run the outreach committee. And we're gonna meet with students who want to be a part of those committees whenever, probably once or twice a month, just to get more engaged with the students and to spread things out. We also want to build a lasting relationship with the community and just be more present in the school instead of just not doing anything. So we're gonna really change that a lot. And personally, I've reached out to all the principals for each of the elementary schools and the middle school, and reached out to the student councils because I'm the student representative, so I wanted to branch out and make sure I was really, truly representing all students. So I've reached out to all the principals and the teachers who lead their student councils. So we're gonna work on that, and I'm gonna try to meet with some of the student councils and see what those kids have to say. And then events. This weekend is the Pageant of Champions for the marching band. Doors open at 5, and the show starts at 6. And I think I'm singing the national anthem too, so that'll be cool. And then, as it was said earlier, we had our open house. There was a financial aid event, Port City Connections event, and there were over 20 community agencies with freebies, food, and prizes. And all the families seemed to enjoy, and it was a good opportunity for for parents to meet the teachers and things like that. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Thank you very much.
Just real quick on Leah. Leah exudes an energy
No.
that is.
It's great. I love it.
Well, it's infectious. So again, she spent a lot of time talking about student council, right? As a former high school principal, I can say, student council is always that type of organization where sometimes they flounder, like, where's my purpose? What should I do? What should I not do? Student council and really every student government, every student club is really predicated on the energy of the students within it. Adults can't drag it along. Right? We can try our best in a lot of ways, but student energy and excitement and commitment is what really makes change, especially in a school community. So I am really excited. And Leah knows this because I tell her this all the time. But I'm really excited about her involvement and the work that Student Council is beginning. And I think we're going to continue to see a lot of great things coming out of that. So kudos to them.
Thank you very much. So now on to items from the board. Do we have any? Anyone? Okay.
I just want to say thank you to Ray. I know we talked about this in our retreat, but kind of our roadmap. I mean, this year goes by really quick. And I know we get together almost every other week, but to have this in front of us and know where we're headed, when certain things kick off, what we're going to be focused on, I think our meeting dates and what might be presented, I appreciate that because it gives us a little bit of a head start to start wrapping our heads around things. So thank you for doing that.
The Buck Booster Spirit Parade, the Community Spirit Parade, is Wednesday, October 8th. We're signing up groups now. It doesn't have to be just an athletic team or a group. It's a community thing. So if the fire department wants to get involved, the police, whoever, anything from any school or any community group is welcome. The parade will start at 5:45. It goes from Kingsford down Utica Street, and it leads into the Powder Puff football game that night. So just reach out. There's prizes for best overall float, most spirited, and most Buck Blue. And anybody that wants to partake, just get a hold of Buck Booster or send me a message, and we'll get you signed up.
I just want to say thank you to everybody for coming to the retreat. I thought it was great. I thought it was beneficial for us. And I see all these little things, like Leah, your excitement, and then reaching out and down further into the district. And it's a learning experience this year as it's mandated. You're teaching us as well, and we're learning from you. So I think that's wonderful. I think, Sean, piggybacking on that, Ray, executing this is a wonderful thing. And I think some of the goals that we're setting for ourselves are going to help not only this board, but boards in the future, because I think we'll start to put some protocols in place that will help transition boards and keep them stronger moving forward. So thank you for your time for doing that, because it's really appreciated. And there is no need for an executive session this evening? No? All right. Can I get a motion to adjourn, please? Thank you, Jen. And a second? And Sean is with the second. Thank you, Sean. Thank you very much. All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you very much.